Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're doing pierogies. This is an annual family favorite that I make, and I've been making it for well over 50 years, and my family has been making it for generations. I've already pre-made the dough. I have made a mixture of mashed potatoes with Swiss and Monterey Jack cheese with a little bit of butter and bacon that's been cooked crispy, and then I chopped it up into small pieces, and I've already put that together. The important thing for the mashed potato filling is the potato needs to be dry so that it can be formed into a ball and not mushy or runny. It needs to maintain its shape when it's inside the dough pillow. We're going to roll out the dough and then cut it into circles, fold it in half, and ripple the edge to seal it closed. And then we will fry it in butter and onions and store it in layers for easy reheating and serving. I like to use the marble rolling pin because it's heavier and rolling the dough is much quicker with this. I just use a little bit of flour, not too much. I don't worry about the overall shape because we are going to be cutting it out, so it doesn't have to be a precise round shape. I like to focus more on the thickness. I'd like to get it to about 1/8 of an inch thick. I like to pull away the circles from the dough, and then we'll reuse this. And not adding too much flour is important so that this dough will stick to itself again. So putting that back into the pile. Do need a little bit of water to seal the edge. So I take a ball of potato for each one. Other filling varieties are sauerkraut, ricotta cheese, and plain potato. I add bacon to give it more of a modern twist. So I wet my finger and I go halfway around, fold it over, make sure the seam is sealed, and then I just do a twist. And it gives it a nice ruffled edge. Make sure it's sealed all the way around. See how that's not sealed yet? You want to make sure that gets closed. Then I just do a twist. So once your dough is made, your filling is made, assembling and cooking is easy. You can listen to music, you can listen to a book or a video. This is just processing now, so your brain is freed up and not having to measure ingredients. So we're going to do this until all of the dough is gone. Sometimes there is filling left over. So we'll resume when we have all of the dough filled and used. This is the last round. So I completed. These are the pierogi is ready for the next step, which is boiling. I have a lot of potato left over, so I have to make note of how much potato and bacon to use. And I'm going to get the water going. We're going to chop onion, get butter melting, and then just put this all together. This is 5 sticks of butter and 4 onions, and I sauteed them just so they softened. I don't want them to be too browned because these get reheated and maybe refried, and I want the onions to still have substance to it. So these are ready. The water is just about to boil. I use this pan and I start with a layer of, at the bottom, you put the butter and onions at the bottom, you spread it around. And the reason why I do this is I create layers. I put foil between each flat layer, and that's a way to peel them back and get them out so they're in one piece. I drop about 10 pierogies in at a time. You can probably fit more. So that was 10, 12, 14, 15. And then I wait for them to rise to the top. Once they rise to the top, I wait about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on how they look. Then I take them out and I put them right into this container and then cover with butter. I typically don't salt the water because I will salt as I serve. And there's bacon in there. The potato filling with the bacon is salty, so I didn't feel the need to salt the water. So they started floating and I've waited 2 minutes. That seemed right for the thickness of the dough. Okay, so that was 15, and that makes for one nice layer. I'll cover that with butter in a minute. I'll drop the next round in. Give it a stir just so that they're not stuck on the bottom or anything. And then cover this with the butter and onions. I put foil down. The next layer will come on this, and then I'll be able to peel back each layer. Because once that butter gets cold, it gets very stiff. And I don't want them to break apart, and this keeps them whole. Okay, these are boiling. I'm setting the timer for 2. Cover the bottom layer with butter and onion. Second layer. This is the last batch. None of them have broken or split, which is very nice. Just pour, just do it this way. Pour the rest of the butter and onions on the top layer. I'm going to leave a little bit in here. Typically, when I serve these, I put them in a skillet, typically cast iron, and saute them so they get a little crispy. So the great thing about the foil is it creates the layer. So you see I can peel this up, and this is one sheet, so to speak, of pierogi. None of them are broken. They won't get broken. They'll easily separate. I just keep this covered, and then they go in the fridge, and that butter gets very solid. Here are the pierogi after I sauteed them in the skillet in the butter. The onions got nice and crispy. The inside is beautiful. You can see the bacon pieces. The pasta is soft. I'll cut into this one. You can see how lovely it is. Very easy to cut with a fork. Looks lovely. This is when you can add the salt and pepper to your liking so that you don't oversalt it in the boiling and sauteing phase. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me today in the kitchen as I make homemade pierogies. I hope you give it a try. Overall, it took me maybe about 3 hours, and it was nice. I had music on, or I was listening to my audiobook. It's a relaxing process once you get the system down. And you can use the same method for ravioli. You can do different fillings. I will include a link to my recipe page where you can get this pierogi recipe and follow along. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if you've tried pierogies yourself. Thank you.